Let's talk about Solar Club. So, consumers are free to choose the retailer of their choice. Now, no matter where we live, we use line providers, which are the big utility companies. So, for example, in Edmonton, EPCOR owns the line. In Calgary, ENMAX owns the line. Majority of rural Alberta, Fortis owns the lines. These are your line providers. Then you have your retailer. A lot of people often confuse the line owners with the retailer because the line owners are definitely the more dominant part of your bill. So no matter who is your retailer, you can be with ENMAX, or I think they have a special plan, or you can be with Direct Energy or Just Energy, it doesn't even matter. In your bill, you would see meter readings by, and there will always be a name of a company that actually owns the lines. And again, those are not too many of, there aren't too many of them out there. They're the major, I think, 5. Now, when you think about Solar Club, you have to understand it has nothing to do with the line owner, it is your retailer. So if you're with Just Energy or Direct Energy, you're changing the retailer who really handles your billing. Now, why would a person want to go to Solar Club? Okay, so the nice thing about Solar Club is that you can change what you're paying for your actual electrical rate. Most of us are either on a float rate or a flat rate, which can be anywhere between 6 cents per kilowatt hour or all the way, we've seen it as high as 40 cents kilowatt hour. The ones that, let's just stick to the ones that lock the rate because it's easier to explain. So if my rate is locked at 6 cents per kilowatt hour, does that mean I'm paying 6 cents in reality? No, I'm paying 6 cents plus my transmission, distribution, and extra fees. We usually do the math and find it's about 10 cents per kilowatt hour on top of your actual electric rate. When you sell your solar, you sell it for your electric rate, which is that 6 cents, 8 cents, 12 cents, whatever you're paying for your electric rate. Now here's the thing. If I am producing 1,000 kilowatt hours a month, and I am using 500 and selling, right, the extra on, what's going to happen is I'm going to get 500 extra kilowatt hours times by 8 cents, let's say, which will give me $40 surplus. So me as a consumer, as an homeowner, I just got $40 surplus. Now, what's happening is the 500 that I bought from the grid, I'm still paying distribution, transmission, all these extra fees on it. So if we're using the simple math of 10 cents, well, that just cost me 500 times 10 cents, which is $50. So I got paid $40 for my extra power, but I actually spent $50 on non-electric charges, let's call them, on my consumption. So here's a situation where I just sold 1,000, right, bought 500, and my bill is plus $10. Now, with Solar Club retailers, you can go ahead and change to what they call a seasonal rate. So in the summer, they allow you to sign up, and it's as easy as going on an online portal and press a button and change your rate. That's the key. They allow you a seasonal rate and an easy adjustment of it. So if I was locked, right now Solar Club retailers, I believe, offer 12 cents locked rate. And that's what you would want to be on throughout the winter or when you are a net importer. Let's talk about that. What's net importer? That means you are buying from the grid more than you are selling at the end of the month, okay? If I'm a net exporter, that means, like I said, 1,000 produced, 500 consumed, I'm now selling back on the grid. So Solar Club only makes sense if you're a net exporter. That's one thing to understand. If you don't have 100% offset or in the high 90s, so in the summertime you're producing more power than you're actually consuming, you don't want to go on Solar Club. The reason is whatever rate you go on Solar Club, you're going to now be buying and selling at that rate. Now let's go back to the same example I started with. If I am now selling 1,000 kilowatt hours On 30 cents per watt, that would be $300 that I would get paid for my power sold. I bought 500, that cost me $150, which means the difference is $150 profit. Now, why I'm doing this? Because the 500 kilowatt hours that you bought, you're still paying the extra 10 cents on them, which means you're still paying the same $50 or so in distribution, transmission, and extra charges, but because you made $150, minus 50, you have $100 left as profit. So if you look at the exact same scenario, when I was not on a solar club and I was just buying my power and selling it for, let's say, 10 cents, right? I was not profiting enough to cover the distribution, transmission, all the extra charges. By just changing my rate, I became profitable, I covered all my extra fees, and I had some leftover money, which would obviously offset my bills in the winter. That's the concept and benefit of Solar Club. You should be very cautious with when you are going the Solar Club route. Because if you were in December and your solar is producing very little and you are consuming a lot with Christmas lights and everything's going on, if you are on the wrong grade by mistake, it could add up really fast. Because if I'm buying 1,000 kilowatt hours and I'm only selling 100 kilowatt hours, well, guess what? I just paid 900 kilowatt hours times 30 cents plus my distribution and whatnot. I'm now at $270 where I could have potentially paid 90, right? So that's something to be aware of with Solar Club. It's a blessing that Alberta and only Alberta has at this point, but it should be used with caution. On my residence, it made a tremendous difference. It allowed me to earn almost $1,000 in the summertime. And then, of course, in the winter, I would go back to the lower rate. So now I'm paying my solar payment, but I also have that $1,000 credit to help me cover that utility bills that I'm paying on top of my solar payment. So I hope that makes sense. Please feel free to ask us more questions. Thank you for watching.